Everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays a Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We're on a roll. Do his 40 wins. Hello, Tomo. You doing okay, buddy? He seems like he's doing okay. Look at this start. SYJA C6 S1. And we are, we're in a good spot. 3 HP, you love to see it. 3 HP, you love to say. It doesn't really work very well at all. Ghost Pepper's good. Rate of fire is great. And our damage, like, you know, I'm not trying to be controversial. Our damage is not irrelevant, but having a slightly lower damage stat matters way less when your rate of fire is good. Now, the opposite is true to some extent. Like, having 12 damage means having a 12 rate of fire isn't that bad. But I'd always rather have a high rate of fire and decent damage than have decent damage. Wait, let me rephrase. I'd always rather have a high rate of fire, decent damage, than have decent rate of fire, high damage. I think most people are in agreement there. I didn't believe that for a long time. I was definitely of the belief, like, you know, damage is the king stat, but I certainly do not believe any longer that that's the case. We gotta be slightly careful. Like, Champion Ragman is quite annoying. What we're trying to do is, like, get set up. I was just gonna say, get set up so that we can land a Ghost Pepper shot on the head if we're lucky enough to have a Ghost Pepper shot lined up. It's certainly not the worst Champion Ragman fight we've ever had, but that was a great dodge there. I'll call it when I see it. That was a great dodge. We just want to keep shooting at the boss whenever possible. We don't want to deal with the riffraff because all we need is like one more Ghost Pepper shot, and then this thing's off to the freaking races, dude. Look at that. All right. Great fight. Ghost Pepper. Not going off as often as I'd like, but very nice nonetheless. And that's one you just wait. You just wait on that one for a little bit, because I don't know how to feel about that. It's not the item you want to see, that's for sure. Anyway, it's still Sunday. One of the benefits of being up early and getting to work early is you get to sneak in more videos, which honestly, look, I'm not... It's a privilege to be busy, and I also, and I say this all the time, I make my own hours. So when I complain about being busy, it's not like I have, like, a boss overhead that is like, ah, come on, you gotta get out 2 more Super Mega Baseballs today. But rather, like, if you want to reframe the complaint, the complaint basically boils down to, like, oh, the people like too many series right now. So I thought maybe we could make it work. I've got to, you know, work slightly harder playing video games. It's a good place to be, you know, it's a quality problem. Definitely will pick this up. Oh, baby. 1 extra penny. 2 extra pennies, maybe. It's a good place to be, is what I'm trying to say. But, you know, being there early, getting some work done early is nice. I've been grinding, not late hours, but long hours. So, let's see. I'm willing to try. Honestly, I definitely would not say that it is worth it. But a tears down and a speed up. Let's just basically think to ourselves that we took experimental treatment there. Oh, plus 1 to our fire rate. Or -1, depending on how you want to think about it. It's not that bad. It's not like it halved our DPS. Okay, maybe, like, don't be stupid. Sure. Let's give it a try. Let's get funky with it. Give me that funky beat. Give me that funky beat. You know that one? I think that's Lethal League Blaze. I think that's Lethal League Blaze. All right, give me money, please. Give me money. You gave me a decent chunk of money there. I'm very happy. Hemolacria carries with it some negatives. I mean, the rate of fire just goes down by default. But it also carries some positives. I'm sure there are some cool synergies with this. When I talked to Sinvicta about Isaac and he mentions Hemolacria, I believe he is of the opinion that Hemolacria is a good and pick-upable item, an item worth picking up, which says something because, like, to get this Invicta seal of approval, his record speaks for itself, don't get me wrong. He's got, like, over 800 wins in a row or something like that. However, he doesn't pick up every item. You know, he doesn't pick up any question marks, I think, to the best of my memory or awareness. Unless maybe, like, in a desperate situation, maybe he'll deviate from that. But, for an item to be worth picking up for Invicta, it's gotta be ironclad. It's gotta get the seal of approval. So that alone carries a lot of weight for Hemolacria itself. And I don't have anything else to say. It's a long room. It's a long room with a lot of big rooms around it. You're done. You're done, bud. One of these days we're going to find a good pill. I guarantee it. I mean, I guess speed up is a good pill, but it does get better. We're okay. We're okay. So I think this floor, we got, like, this is a real flowchart moment. We have a deal with the devil that's all but guaranteed. We got a lot of HP to spend. If we spend a certain amount of HP, they're doing a little promotion where spend 2 HP or more, get yourself access to that boss trap room on the south of the floor. It's very exciting for me that there could be anything in there, including a normal chest with 1 penny. Apart from that, I don't know. We'll see. I appreciate the damage. It's quite a nice damage upgrade. Goat head early when you have HP to spare. Extremely great. And we'll just get out of here. That didn't do too much for us. We also have... Why would you do that? We also have shop access. This one is shaping up. Is got everything the body needs right now. I'm gonna ask you a difficult question right now. Gun to your head, and that's hypothetical, YouTube. Do you predict The Matrix 4 will be good? Yes or no? You know, they're making a new Matrix movie. I don't know, I probably should have started with that context. They're making a new Matrix. Everybody is pretty much on the same page, I think. We'll take Diplopia. Whether or not we use it remains to be seen. We will not use it. Hold on. Hold on. Dude, honestly, in this situation, I think that's usable. Battery box of spiders isn't that great, but we got enough out of this to justify the use of it, I think. So they're making a new Matrix movie. I'll tell you, the Wachowskis' output, for me, really I mean, I love the Matrix 1. I think the Matrix 2 is okay, and 3 is a disaster, in my opinion. And then, you know, I haven't seen Sense 8, but I've seen some clips from it, and it seems cool, but not for me. Hold on, let me see what's in here. Bunch of question marks. Oh, no, it calls Invicta, he's shaking. I don't know, maybe we'd rather have Book of Sin than... let's go with Box of Spiders. We don't give it its due day in court that often. So I am going to take the under in this case. I think the under would be less than even odds. I think you'd have to bet $2 to get $1 in return. But I think that the Matrix 4 will not be good. However, you can always rely on the Wachowskis to try something new, right? Cloud Atlas, very ambitious. Speed Racer, really like a one-of-a-kind movie in terms of like visuals. And has really grown to be kind of a cult classic over time. So I wouldn't say I'm cautiously optimistic. I do expect it to be bad. But I think that there is a chance that it could be good. And even if it's bad, it'll probably be bad in an interesting way. So I'm for it. I'm much more interested. Like, I'll be honest. I saw on Twitter an infographic or something, and it was like, you know, like in lockdown Twitter, like Twitter's gone through a few different phases, but one of the enduring things is like, you know, a 3x3 image of like candy that's like, you can only save 3 candies. What do you save? And that's been like the most popular form of media over the past 3 months, along with Monster Train videos. Thank you, by the way. They did one that was like, what sequel are you most excited about for 2021? Because there's like a lot of movies that originally were going to come out in 2021 that now, and even on top of that, a lot of sequels were going to come out in 2020 that have now been pushed to 2021 because of the virus. And there's a lot of stuff on the list. You know, Venom 2, I haven't seen Venom 1. The third Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, Matrix 4, John Wick 4, Sherlock Holmes 3. I think it's 3 anyway. I don't really remember. This is a secret room then. But I was surprised how many people were like, they tweeted like, I'm very interested. Come on, dude. Stop taking pills. You're doing the little things wrong here. I was very surprised how many people were like, number 1 is Sherlock Holmes 3. I had no idea that the Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, Sherlock Holmes movies had that kind of like groundswell behind it. I know the first one made like a lot of money, and I think the second one did as well. It was one of those movies that like always showed up in like, you know, you're like top 5 movies of 2009. Sherlock Holmes? Why stand there? Give me a bomb, please. If we get a bomb at any point, we can come back in here, I guess. But I didn't realize. I kind of thought those movies had, I don't want to say been left in the dust. But, you know, I didn't realize that people had that kind of fondness for them. But whatever you like, at this point, I'm not in the position to be making any enemies and just... Oh, that's pretty good. Just gonna be happy when the movie theaters are able to safely reopen and get down to some business, you know what I mean? I mean, not business like, you know, cha-ching, but business like, you know, I can go to the movies again. It's really just a weird way of saying I can't wait to go to the movies again. Although, I'm realizing, I'm like, maybe I've seen my last movie in theaters for quite some time. Because, you know, kind of hard to get out to the movies when you got a 0-year-old. I don't want to go to the secret room. I want to get the demon heart. I'm nervous about this run, but only ever so slightly. So I don't know. I guess it depends on when theaters reopen. That's a little weird, right? Like, because I've already mentioned, and we don't. This doesn't have to be a lockout episode, but in BSC things are starting to relax a little bit. But you know, you can open theaters here, but if theaters aren't open worldwide, but particularly, let's be honest, in America, it's not like Hollywood studios are going to come out with a bunch of movies. They're not going to be like, hey, you know, the Scotiabank Theater in Vancouver's opened up. Let's release the new Fast and the Furious movie. Anyway. Just, I mean, really, like, my whole aperture for anecdotes is basically one trip to the grocery store a week. We went to the dentist and a lunch restaurant this week, and then also Twitter. So I just ask you for your mercy. It is starting to, we're starting to have some more anecdotes, and in baby time, I'm sure the anecdotes are going to be like, oh my god. But for now, it's a little, I wouldn't say dry, just one note. And the note is like, it's a high P. A little sharp, though. Alright, we're moving on. Keeping it going. The run is in an interesting place. I always, whether it's correct or not, hemolacria always makes me feel like I'm a little low on DPS. But the idea is that Goathead should be able to kind of finesse a little bit of extra DPS for us at some point. Now, I know, by the way, people get very, very upset, and perhaps deservedly so, at the way I run Dogtooth. I apologize. All I'm going to say for now is I have no bombs. I do value the secret rooms. There was one comment. You're probably watching, so I apologize. It's a bad habit to mind that for humor, but someone suggested, it's like he has a personal vendetta against Dogtooth. The way he looks for secret rooms, but when he has Dogtooth, he doesn't care so much. What? It's just weird to me. Well, you're right. I have to tell you that, and it's very observant of you to pick this up. Dogtooth, I do have a personal vendetta against it. You might think that it's merely a cluster of ones and zeros, you know, locked within an Excel spreadsheet that the game then reads data from in order to populate the values and attributes for the item inside of the game. It's not true. It's actually my childhood bully. Dogtooth punched me in the face in 2nd grade. And my long con for getting back at it is to be slightly pleased when I get it, but not as pleased as the average person. That's what it comes down to. So you know what? You got me. You got me on that one. Help. This is not a great time to encounter a shop. This one is, we're at a very pivotal moment in this run. It could go easily to outer space. This could be an Elon run. But it's also, like, it's not too far away. I wouldn't say from being dangerous, but from starting to possibly get dangerous. Really, like, a couple more floors of being a little bit underpowered is all it would take, especially with our HP where it is all it would take to really start throwing things. So this is an incredibly interesting option for us that is also quite scary. Get me out of here, I think. I think we're good to go. Alright. So I'll admit I forgot what Brimstone and Hemolacria did together. I think it doesn't change things. Oh, dude, Runebag is so good. It doesn't change things too much, because I think we still are just trying to hit enemies. And really we get a bonus bit of damage. Like, I think there's very little negative associated with it. And now I'm realizing, man, we had the chance to take Brimstone Hemolacria on the first run I recorded today, which was 2 runs ago. We should have done it. I don't know what our rate of fire was like on that one in hindsight, so I don't want to say, like, for sure we should have done it. But, like, it's fairly potent. There's going to be the odd frustration, like when you hit an enemy with a shot, it doesn't kill them and then the beams all miss, but apart from that, it's not that bad. It's better than not that bad, let's say. So I would say, like, with 42 cents, having just fought Greed, the next most logical step for us is go to the shop on every floor and 1000% buy as many Spirit Hearts as possible. 1 full stack of Spirit Hearts might give us enough to win the game at this point. And I gotta say, we've been going through some interesting times in Isaac. You know, no losses recently, obviously, but we've managed to make some somewhat difficult runs, or at least unusual runs. Not that this is one of them. Work for us is very nice. It's very exciting, and I truly this is maybe the most confident I've ever been in my Isaac play over the past, like, let's say 4 years, because 5 years ago I did have one incredible streak. But I'm feeling good. I think we can get away with this. And it is 2 of diamonds, which right now would be really good because it would give us 2 whole cents. This still turned out very nicely. So where's the dream from here? If we could get Guppy, like Guppy, Hivemind, Hemolacria, I think is the end of the world as they know it. And they don't feel fine. What, you don't like REM? Not really, no? Well, I think you're being needlessly dismissive towards REM. REM has, and if you've watched for a length of time, you may already know my feelings about REM. They're mixed. I think that REM has an incredibly boring late career, and I do apologize if you're a big fan of, like, their late work, like, you know, Leaving New York. But I think they became, like, one of the most default alternative rock bands. Right around, like, past the mid-90s, they weren't doing, in my opinion, a lot of amazing stuff. However, in the 80s to the early 90s, they were doing some incredible work. Like, if all you know about REM is, like, Everybody Hurts, you're missing out on, you know, Radio Free Europe. Well, really, like, Murmur as an album is just fantastic. You might laugh, but REM was kind of like the biggest thing in music for a couple of years. I know it sounds very quaint now, but it's the honest to goodness truth. I mean, Automatic for the People is just it's a classic album. If you can't respect that, you can just get out, dude. You can just get out of my... Or you could get into my comments and say, thanks for giving me a chance to listen to it again. I listened to it again, and I found that Night Swimming was a song that really spoke to me. Okay, that works too. So I'll tell you, if I had known this would just give me money, I obviously wouldn't have done it. Let's save up for the next shop. Don't burn me on this one. But I really thought it could take Samson's Chain. I think that's one of those things where you're like, that's a very realistic mistake to make. And you can tell I'm not even beating myself up over it, you know? I feel like I always thought Samson's Chain was a familiar, but maybe not. Anyway, where are we at here? The run is only slightly frightening. You know, thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening me. There's got to be an item that ends with O, right? I'm fishing for it. Brother Bobby, Brother Bobby. Doesn't really work. So, and also, you know what else doesn't really work? The shop screwed me, dude. I shouldn't have waited, but I thought, hey, if we're only gonna use 2 of diamonds to buy things, we might as well wait till our next floor, and we could probably get even more out of it. This is just one of those, like, probably like 1 in 5 runs where you fight both Greed and Super Greed. It happens. I mean, we got them all. Greed, Super Greed, Krampus. We're fighting every boss in the game on this run. This is a 100% all boss run. All boss percentage. Might as well pop that then. We take a rune with us in the future. There is going to be a lesson learned on this run. And hopefully the lesson is not going to be like, I've made a mistake and, you know, we'll never do this again. The lesson should be respect Hemolacria Brimstone a little bit more. As long as your rate of fire is not pure garbage. Respect Hemolacria Brimstone a little bit more. I thought I heard it on the previous room, but... Oh, and you know what? Look at that. Look at that. Entirely useless Tinted Rock. Well, the number one thing I would say here, we gotta use our brain. Because this run only has one problem, but it's the problem that eventually can affect every run. You know I'm interested in that. But I am worried because I'm also like, you know what? Because we have this here, we're gonna pick it up and see what happens. And if it sucks, we'll re-roll the whole run. We got a safety option. Now, we should have just black runed it. It turns out it does nothing. I thought maybe it would... I mean, in my head, I was like, you know what's going to happen here? It's going to let us steer a Hemolacria tier that explodes into beams when it touches an enemy. I think that's a reasonable assumption of what's going to happen. Certainly, you can understand why I would feel it. It's not like I'm pulling that out of thin air. Alright, so... Mom should be destroyed very easily. But you got to be very careful with these deals with the devil. This deal, you do not have to be careful with, because it's just very bad. You don't have to be careful at all with this one. You can just get out of there. Alright. So we're still okay. Just love to pick up, like, Dark Bum. That would go a long way for us. Just a single... Just a wafer thin Dark Bum pickup. Let's not. I actually think we have one other important and actionable piece of feedback, which is when you get to the cathedral, and we're gonna get to the cathedral. This is not the run that capitulates before then, if at all. When we get to the cathedral, hopefully you will have some bombs. Use those bombs to blow up blue fires, and we'll probably be safe. When I think back to, like, I don't even want to watch... People are like, maybe one day you'll go back and watch, you know, some of your earlier Isaac episodes, and you'll cringe at, like, how you played. I think I'm way less gonna cringe at, like, an Isaac episode from, you know, 2012 or whatever, and way more gonna cringe at an Isaac episode from, like, 2017. Like, I'm very much locked in this mindset right now, where I'll admit to you... Oh, no. I am, like... How did we lose 1 in 10 or 1 in 15 runs? I don't understand it. Like, what was I doing? What was I doing all this time? And I think the answer is, you know, I don't think my skills have really... Well, I don't think my natural level of, like, raw talent has changed in Isaac. But I think what has definitely changed is I'm, like, just not being as lazy. I'm doing the things you gotta do to ensure consistency instead of just being like, I'm gonna willfully put myself in a bad position and then try to get out of it somehow. You know? And it's a bold change. It's a bold change, that's for sure. Okay, that's what you use Black Rune on, and that is not. So we'll just, you know, get probably the world's most meaningless rate of fire upgrade, but hey, you'd rather have it than not have it, huh? Anyway, the point of this episode is not, like, dunk on me. The point of this episode is Stan REM. Stan Michael Stipe, and stand in the place where you live. Now face west, think about direction, tell me. You know, you don't know it? You know, that's called Stand? Oh, come on, dude. It's one of REM's most well-known songs from the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere in there. All right, give me one more, please. You know what other band gets a lot of credit but doesn't get enough simultaneously? ABBA. Growing up, I had a distaste for ABBA that was based exclusively on the fact that I thought their whole musical collection was essentially just musical bait, like, you know, Mamma Mia, Dancing Queen, etc., etc. They got some real slappers. I apologize to Sweden for besmirching the good name of ABBA. In fact, just in general, Sweden, you have a great lineage of pop classics, you know? I mean, you got ABBA, of course. You have Robin. Robin may be, like, the most respected artist in pop music. Back in the mid-2000s, you had Annie. Annie was crushing it for a while. What the heck? NL knows Annie? What's happening, dude? Yeah! Okay? I was paying attention to that kind of stuff in the mid-2000s. There was a time everybody was around and I was dancing with you. You think I don't know this stuff? Come on, man. I just walked over here. Don't forget about Jens Lekman. But, I mean, on top of that, you got The Knife. Oh, so many classic Swedish bands. And artists, I should say. Did you also know, and I only knew this because I read, and this is not a joke, and also, you can laugh if you want, but the article was fascinating. It was a 10-year, or an oral history, let's say, of the release of Oops, I Did It Again, 10 years on from its, or 20 years on from its release. Did you know that, most of Britney Spears' original song, well, not original songs, I should say, but, I forgot what I was going to say. Basically, a Swedish group of songwriters wrote those. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't think that Britney Spears herself wrote Hit Me Baby One More Time. And the reason for that is not because I think she's incapable of it, but because she was like 17 when that song came out. Look, that's like, if she wrote Hit Me Baby One More Time at 17, that's as much of an accomplishment as, like, you know, Slint's Spiderland. It still blows my mind. I know we're getting very Mew-core right here. Still blows my mind that, like, pretty sure the some of the people in Slint were, like, still in high school when they worked on Spiderland. That's just absurd. That's a very mature album. Most people in high school, their musical sensibility is basically like Weird Al. Which is not rude, but like... Or, I mean, might sound rude, but it's not meant to be rude. But what I mean by that is it's more like... you know, if it comes to songwriting, they're like, hey, it's a good day. If I were a horse, I'd eat hay. And meanwhile, Slint is like, you know, Don walked into a room. Wow, 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 wow. Anyway, I'm not gonna belabor the point. Bearcano. Ooh. Well, we obviously, especially after the Incubus pickup, it's really nice, and we're extremely safe. You know, we're shooting 2 stacks of beams every time we shoot, which very much minimizes the risk of, you know, one of the stacks missing and thus letting an enemy live long enough to hit us. So this is very good stuff. It's very good stuff. Curse of the Unknown. You're always blessed when you're in a position where Curse of the Unknown doesn't affect you. Or shouldn't affect you. And even, like, I don't think we take Book of Shadows. Like, it's not that I think Invincibility's not worth anything, but I think having, like, some direct damage from Krampus's head may actually save us more damage. Well, maybe not, but, you know. It shouldn't be relevant either way. Basically, what I'm saying is I want Krampus's head to pop off and do a little bit more damage faster, but I'm stoked with the way this run went down. And hey, you know what pilots say, like, you believe pilots, by the way, when they say any landing you walk away from is a good one? I'm sure that that's what they say. But there's times where, like, the pilots look at each other and go, like, that was a rough one. You don't think so? You don't think that happens? It should be Bookworm, right? Let's go, dude. I'm sure it happens. Like, to the public, they're like, any landing you can walk away from is a good one. To their pilot buddies, they're like, brother, let me tell you, this landing was fricked. Nobody on the plane had any idea how close they were to despair. NL, please. I'm taking a flight next week, and this is triggering my... No, you're not! I don't know, you might actually. It depends. You might be able to take some local travel, but you're not traveling internationally. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You looked at the stats for air travel, you're going to be fine. I've been there. This is the one time I feel like I can talk about it guilt-free, because, you know, what percentage of my audience is flying in the next, you know, 30 days? I would say probably somewhere in the vicinity of 0.0, and then maybe a number after that, but... And a beautiful run is in the books for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps me get a little algorithmic juice. Sends a message to YouTube. Hey, YouTube, show this video to more people. They go, okay. 5% of the people they show it to click on it. 5% of those people watch it to the end, and 5% of those people say, you know what? I'm going to stick around. 1 in 125 people that sees the video comes and hangs out for a while. All we need is a little bit of a groundswell and likes, and, you know, that number allows you to build steam from a grain of salt. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. See ya!